Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of Back to Baltimore. We're talking with former Baltimore Orioles and Ravens about what they've been up to since their time in Baltimore, and just a lot of fun they had around town. Let's go ahead and welcome in our first guest, Femi Ayanbadejo. Femi played 8 years in the NFL as a running back and fullback, including three for the Ravens from 1999 to 2001, winning the 2001 Super Bowl with the Ravens. His brother Brendan also played for the team. Femi now lives in Baltimore and is doing so much other stuff. Femi, welcome to the show.
Dan, appreciate you, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So we talked a little bit. You're living in Baltimore these days, right?
Yeah, I live right downtown in Harbor East. I've been back here about 10, 11 years now. Did my MBA here at Johns Hopkins, which is 2 blocks from me. My kids were born and raised here. Mom is from Catonsville. Met her when I played for the Ravens, and I've just been all in on just, adapting to life post football. It's been years since then, obviously, and being a dad, being an entrepreneur, trying to be a good example when I can. So yeah, a lot of good things happening here in Baltimore.
Definitely want to come back to the family stuff. Definitely want to come back to the NBA stuff. But what brought you back to Baltimore in the first place after going to Arizona and other places?
Yeah, well, it was my kids really. It's kind of hard to say you're being a good parent when you live across the country. I grew up in California and went to San Diego State. And when I retired, I went back to San Diego. That was my safe place for me to kind of figure out my next move. And after a couple years of solidifying myself in human performance, it was time to kind of focus on, well, how do I add, being a dad into my daily life now that I've adjusted post football to being an entrepreneur and human performance expert. And I realized I couldn't do that in California. So the beauty of what I do is I can do it anywhere. And I wanted to go to grad school, got into Hopkins. Kids are here. One thing led to another. Boom. 2014. I think March 2014, I moved back full time.
We've learned education has been a big part of your life. You mentioned the MBA with Hopkins, with Wharton. I know there's Harvard
Yeah,
and Stanford in there. You're like
yeah,
the opposite of CTE, man. Like what's
yeah, yeah. You would think maybe I'm fighting it uphill, right? But yeah, I think a still mind is a wasted mind. You know what I mean? I think for me, challenging myself and I think self disruption is a good thing. Forcing yourself to adapt and adjust. Mental acuity, agility. A lot of times people see success, but they don't see the pivots and mistakes that you make along the way. And the true sign of growth and self awareness is applying those lessons, especially the tough ones, and understanding that the way that people view you as a former athlete is just a sliver of who you actually are. And you have to introduce them to who you are through the decisions that you make and the things that you do. Hence the fact that I've challenged myself from a formal education and institutional educational level with the best. And I wanted people to see me and associate me with that, not just associate me with being an NFL player, because there's some stigma and there's probably some assumptions that come with that are probably unfounded and actually not good. So I've gone out of my way to build a brand around my intelligence, my self-disruptive behavior to continue to challenge myself and learn. And that's who I am now. And I think people see me that way a lot more now than probably that they did in 2010 when I kind of first retired.
What are your current plans? Like, what do you got coming up?
Wow, good question. So um, I've been in the human performance space in general since 2010. But I really pivoted to the tech space, AI, machine learning, diagnostics when I was doing my MBA at Hopkins. So I have two companies. The foundations of both companies are AI and machine learning. We use AI and machine learning for health diagnostics with one of my companies, and the other we use for NFL analytics and mobile sportsbook NFL game predictions, right? Like literally predicting game outcomes. And a lot of my other work is around consulting, keynote speaking, motivational speaking. So if I'm not doing like 10 things, I'm not satisfied, right? So if you notice the theme in everything that I do is really optimization. Like how do I squeeze the best out of everything that I do, whether it's a, an algorithm or whether it's me speaking to a group of C-level executives from a company looking for executive coaching and guidance and building culture and leadership strategies for their VPs and director level positions. So the plan is to just kind of keep doing what I'm doing. There's always things that are popping up. I recently just signed a consulting agreement with NASA. I'm actually a NASA technology transfer partner. And all that basically means that there are algorithms and hardware that NASA builds for the space program, but aren't often implemented into the space program. But guess what? As Americans, you can license that technology that's actually in a technology portfolio. A lot of people don't know this. There's like 10 different NASA labs. You can actually go online and look at the different things that they have. You can build a whole business around it. I happen to acquire something from NASA here at Goddard, which is right near DC, in between here in Baltimore. And I deposited that singular data point into my health diagnostic. And through that relationship, I've been talking to the director of tech transfer here. And I've been kind of for years saying, hey, I think there's better ways to do this. And finally, he took me up on my offer, and I ended up getting a contract with them on the consulting side to help kind of scale this tech transfer opportunity for all American citizens and universities, entrepreneurs. The main requirement is that you have to be U.S. based and be an American citizen. That's really it.
I don't think you're doing enough, man. You need to do more.
You're right. I don't think I am either. Right? Like I got to do more.
How
Shit,
do
I
I
got to
get
do
you to
more.
how do I get you to record a motivational message for me each week? Because I'm lazy as hell.
If
So
you give me $100 million, I will do it for you, Dan.
I got that Monopoly money in my car right now. Ain't no
Done.
problem.
Let's do it. Fucking A. Let's go.
So we know you got a couple of kids. What are they up to these days?
Yeah, so my daughter lives in LA at my brother's house in Brentwood. She's been modeling since she was 15. She graduated from McDonough right here in Owings Mills.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, and so she's living in LA. She comes back home quite a bit. She just did a couple of shoots for Under Armour recently. True Religion. She was at Miami Swim Week. She was at New York Fashion Week. I'm so proud of her. She's going to be 20 and she's got a full-time job right now. Dropped out of school and everything. Living in my brother's house. My brother's daughter and her, like twins, two peas in a pod. They're both 19. Living the dream in LA. Having
Yeah.
a blast. And my son Femi's a senior at McDonough, running track. Great student. Looking at schools now. Wants to run Division I track. That's his goal. And then my youngest son, Ajax, actually lives in LA as well. Different mom than my two oldest. But the beauty of him being in LA is he gets to see his sister, gets to see his uncle and his cousins. And whenever I'm in Southern California, obviously, we get the whole family together and get to hang out. So my life is anything but simple, I guess you could say. But
Yeah.
you know what? It works, and everybody gets along. And I don't play those adult bullshit games. Like you act like an adult, or I can't fuck with you at all. Like I don't
Yeah.
have time for it. Like I'm about adults putting their bullshit aside and raising their kids and getting along and doing whatever needs to be done. Like that's how I play and get down. So everybody gets along in my life. It's a forced thing. It has to be done that way.
Well, I'm out in LA too doing some comedy. And so I don't know if your daughter's agency is looking for like a mildly in shape Jew, but like
Yeah, mildly in shape Jews. I don't know how in demand they are. I don't know.
it's been about a couple hundred years since they've been in demand. So
Okay. Okay. All right.
yeah.
I can make a call. I can make a call though.
If you don't mind,
Okay.
great. See
Because what if they say they want an in shape Jew? Then
then I can give you approximately like $9 a week to train me if that'll work. Make it happen.
in Monopoly money.
Yeah, that'd be better.
Okay.
Zach's actually my financier.
Okay.
Yeah, I spend all of his money, but no, I'd say call Gabe Kapler if you needed an
I'll
in
call Gabe
shape Jew.
Kapler. Hey, Gabe Kapler's.
Let's get to some of your time with the Ravens. We'll start with the above board stuff. So how did you end up on the Ravens in the first place? How'd you make the team? All that good stuff.
Yeah. So actually, in the intro, you said I played 8 years. I actually played 11 years, but we can get into the details of my career later. But
Fucking
it's okay.
football reference.
It's all yeah, it's all good. But and I know why why the discrepancy exists, but we don't have to go down that rabbit hole. But it's important because the timeline matters here.
Okay.
So 1997 was my rookie year. I was undrafted and I signed with the Minnesota Vikings. And the Minnesota Vikings offensive coordinator at that time was Brian Billick. And obviously Dennis Green was the head coach. RIP Dennis Green, one of the best coaches I've ever had in my life, one of the best men I've ever met in my life. And Denny gave me an opportunity with the Vikings. I was there 97, 98. And then in 99, I was still with the Vikings, but Brian left the Vikings and became the head coach of the Ravens in 99. And like 5 or 6 guys from the Vikings went with Brian to Baltimore. And if you remember, the 1998 Minnesota Vikings were 15-1, probably the best Vikings team in history, like not to make it to a Super Bowl, right? And so Randy Moss was a rookie that year. Randall Cunningham was like our Pro Bowl quarterback that year. An amazing season. So Brian got the job in Baltimore. In week 2 of the 99 season, I believe it was week 2, I think we had 5 running backs in the running back room, and I was the youngest still. So Denny cut me and was going to put me on the practice squad. And I was like, all right, because I came up through the practice squad. 97 was my rookie year. I actually got cut in 97. They brought me back. I got allocated to NFL Europe. They brought me back on the roster again. They put me on the practice. I went the long route, right? So 99, I actually make the team in Minnesota, and then I get cut after week 2. But guess what? Brian calls me and says, hey, heard what happened in Minnesota. We'd love to have you come to Baltimore and play. We'll put you right on the roster. You'll be playing this week. The crazy thing is that I had just played in a game with the Vikings against the Falcons. Well, guess who my first game with the Ravens was against the Falcons. So I
Yeah.
literally played the Falcons back-to-back weeks in different uniforms, just crazy. So 1999, I guess week 4 it might have been was my first game with the Ravens, week 3 or week 4. And everyone, 2000 we win the Super Bowl, 2001 I'm on the roster, on the team still. 2002 comes along, and then I end up signing with the Dolphins after that. So basically, 99 through the beginning of 2002, I was with the Ravens, and obviously
What
Super Bowl in 2000.
what happened? You didn't love us anymore? You had to go to Miami just because
No,
one.
no, you know what? My contract was up that year, and we were in serious negotiation. But being a guy who had been undrafted and been cut and on a practice squad, like I just wanted security. I just wanted to know that I was going to be able to play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the Ravens, they didn't jump right away. And there's more to the story that I'm just not going to get into right now because it's kind of like it's personal. It's like stuff between Ozzy and I that I like. There's more details, but to be honest, I don't have approval to talk about the crazy details about it. And it's nothing bad, but the point is that I wanted to know that I was going to be able to suit up and play for somebody in 2002. And I sat down with a couple other teams and I ended up signing with the Dolphins. So I wish I didn't. I wish it didn't happen. I wish I could have been a Raven, from that point all the way on. But that's not what the universe had in store for me, and it's okay because here we are talking about some stuff now, all these years later.
Look, man, you were a pro athlete for 11 years, as we've learned. You got to have some fun stories, some cool meetings with athletes or celebrities, or give us something fun. I know there was some.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm playing for the Dolphins, and Ricky Williams, he had left the Saints and went to the Dolphins, and I knew Ricky because he's from San Diego, and when I was at San Diego State, out of courtesy, he took a trip to SDSU. He was never going to go to SDSU, but it's a hometown team, would take a trip, right? And we were actually pretty good. And so Ricky comes on his trip. We hit it off. We become like cool. We become friends. I didn't see him very much after that because he went to the University of Texas, and I ended up, I was with the Vikings, and we had our own trips, and the universe ends up putting us back together in Miami. So
How much
Ricky
weed?
calls me.
How much weed
What's
did he
that?
bring to How much weed did he bring to San
He
Diego?
didn't bring any weed. He didn't bring any weed. I didn't see any weed. I didn't smoke any weed, and I never smoked weed with Ricky, to be honest. So
I heard nothing.
all right, cool. Now I can't say I didn't smoke weed with some other guys, but this isn't about them right now. So anyway,
Come back to that.
yeah. So Ricky calls me, and being West Coast guys, and we're both in Florida, we just like to kick and hang. And Ricky was a great teammate, and both being running backs and in that running back room, we just had good guys. And so Ricky hits me up. He's like, man, let's go down to Fort Lauderdale. I got somebody I want you to meet. I'm like, who? He's like, nah, I can't tell you. You just gotta come with me. I'm like, all right. He comes and picks me up at my apartment, hop in his car. I'm like, dude, who are we gonna go see? He's like, no, I can't tell you. I can't tell you. So we go into a bar, and to be honest, I don't remember what bar it was, but Fort Lauderdale is nice and it's cool, whatever. Everyone's chilling, having a good time. And I'm kind of like, no. I look across the room, and it's OJ Simpson.
Oh shit.
And I'm just like, damn, dude, like we're about to hang out with OJ. Like, come on now, And he's like, nah, chill. Like, it's cool. I'm like, dude, like I'm just kind of like tripping, you know what I mean? Like, come on now, we all know he did it. Like, let's not act like he didn't do it, right? Like, I don't give a damn. Like,
We'll have a
we
killer
know
time.
the facts. We know the facts. And so I just felt uncomfortable about it. But what was crazy is that, after like 3 vodka sodas, I just kind of, I just
Yeah.
had to let it I'm there. What am I going to do? Like, like bring it up, talk about it? No, nobody did. Everybody was chilling. And OJ is quite charismatic. And I think he has to be, because I think he knows what everybody's thinking. You know what I mean? And so, after a couple hours, you just try to get it out of your head, and you kind of keep it moving. But that's the first and only time I had never ever met OJ. And to be honest, me and Ricky never even really talked about it again after that. He kind of just, he brought me with him. I know why he brought me with him though. He didn't want to go there alone. You know what I mean?
Safety first, man.
So yeah, there's power in numbers. You know what I mean? So
Please,
Anyway, yeah.
please tell me OJ was hitting on women at the bar.
I mean, to tell you the truth, I think OJ was just holding court. You know what I mean? Like it literally, everybody just kind of sat around and listened to him kind of tell stories. I think he just talks to you like the way that I recall it is that he just talks so much and is so friendly and like charismatic that it almost feels like he's trying to make you not think about what you're all thinking about. Like that's kind of what it felt like.
I was listening to Ricky that one time, and you played with both, and they remembered in the interview they asked him about, well, what was it like playing with Ray Lewis, and because he had a pretty good year his last year with the Ravens, if I remember, I
Yeah,
think
he
it was
did.
before they
Yeah,
won the
he
Super
did.
Bowl, and he
Yeah.
probably could have gone another one, and he said he didn't fit in that locker room because he said like Ray and all them were lions and stuff like that, and he's like, I'm not a lion. And I thought that was just so interesting to hear from someone, he was such a, feared in your face running back, and so you kind of played with both. And obviously Ray was
Yeah.
definitely a lion, I would say, but what was it like with Ricky? He kind of played himself off
Yeah.
as this, kind of timid
No,
guy.
you know what's interesting? I never thought about it that way, but from Ricky's perspective, I totally get it. Like Ricky's a soft-spoken introvert, but he's a beast with a ball in his hand. He runs hard, right? But he's not like the pound your chest Tarzan guy. That's just not who he is. But I love Ricky for who he is. I think he's an amazing human. He's a great teammate. He's a really good friend. He really cares about his teammates. He does care about, and I think because of his struggles with mental health, like he has empathy. And I think one of the most important things when you've been through trauma and stress, like those events, they build character if you learn to extract something from it. And I think with Ricky, you know, he really took to heart the things that he went through to become the football player that he needed to be. But the stereotypical football player character traits, that's not really who he is. He could play ball, but the chest pounding and bragging, that's just not who he is. Like all the kind of hyperbole, that's just not who Ricky is. And the funny thing is that Ray, in a lot of ways, is also a good teammate and a good friend and cares about people in the locker room, and he just has a totally different way of expressing it. Like Ray is a funny, loud, shit talking, let's have a good time, but he'll let you know when he'll let you know though too. Like it's totally it's like complete 180 in personality, but both highly effective in regard to their football careers.
The year you won the Super Bowl, what was it, like 4 games without a touchdown, right? Or something like that. And everyone, and I can only imagine what it would be like in this day and age with social media, everyone. So what was it like going through that? Because I remember that was like one of the longer streaks at that point.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that the football was a lot more. Now, this statement is to make a nuanced point, but not a literal one, right? Like the thing about the NFL that's awesome is that it is the most popular national sport. But I think prior to social media, things were still a lot more regional. You know what I mean? And what social media has done is it's taken the boundaries and the lines off, and everybody is like this far away from. Oh, everybody's this far away from you. You know what I mean? Everyone's a device away, a stream away. You know what I mean? Like anybody can come onto a live podcast if there's a chat and they can say whatever they want. And that's the beauty of content creation now, is that it's a double-edged sword. There's a lot of fucked up shit and there's a lot of amazing stuff, and the access and the proximity, right? Back then, that stuff didn't exist. So I don't think we felt as much pressure, nor do I think as many people cared as would now in this environment, because there's no borders, there's no boundaries. Everybody's right there. So you're totally right. I think if that was to happen now, it would be a national firestorm. But also the Ravens weren't then who they are now. That was the beginning of who the Ravens were becoming at that time. Like
they never made the playoffs before.
Ravens is what put us on this path. Yes. Yeah. So, it's a good nuanced point, Zach. I do appreciate that question, but to make the point, it would be very different.
Fellas, it's a little bit like a locker room in here. I think we need a lady's perspective. So let's welcome to the show, everybody. Green Card Lais. She just got her green card and is learning about American sports. Green Card Lais, welcome to the show. You're on with Femi Ayanbadejo, former Ravens running back.
Wow, what a pleasure.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So you got your green card for real? Like, is that a joke?
No, it's actually true.
Really? Okay. Where are you from?
I'm from Brazil.
Oh, Brazil. Okay. I love Brazil.
Yeah.
Brazil's awesome.
So one thing that I always wanted to know is that how do you do it? How do you wake up every morning and instead of, just deciding to wake up and smoke weed and having, Wendy's, you just decide, okay, I'm just gonna wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning and just, work out and go to
Get
the
shit done.
field in a super cold weather. I want to know because I want to do what you did. I want to, the formula,
Yeah, I
how do you
mean,
do that?
yeah, I that's actually a good question. I'm trying to. So when you're a kid and you're young, right, you have these like delusions of grandeur on like I'm going to be a pro athlete, and not just in one sport, in multiple sports. That's how I grew up thinking like I'm going to be good and I'm going to play pro baseball, I'm going to play in the NFL, I'm going to do all these things. And then you realize how hard it is, and you realize there's other kids that are just as good as you. And so for me, I always looked at, well, I knew that I had talent, but I also knew that other kids were talented. So the thing that I could control was my work ethic and my discipline. So I just leaned super hard into like the work ethic and the discipline part. And the beauty is that that work ethic and that discipline permeates everything that I've done as an entrepreneur, as a father, everything. Like it's who I am now and I actually think I was some people have to learn that. I actually think I've always had it in me. I just had to tap into it. So
Mhm.
when I looked at the the process and the recipe to get to where I got to get to where I wanted to go, I knew that discipline, focus, nutrition, I knew all these things played a part. And as long as I felt like implementing these things was giving me an edge, it was easy to do because I saw it on the field, right? Like I saw the performance improvements. And it's kind of like a confirmation, it's confirmation that the process that you're deploying and the strategies that you're deploying, and not to mention, like I've had very good mentors and coaches over the years, and they all say and have said they all say similar things about like this is how you do it. This is the regiment, this is the process, this is the plan. And so I
Mhm.
think that 99% of professional athletes are like me, right? But then you have these super freaks that are just so God gifted, like talent wise, so genetically gifted that they probably don't have to work as hard as maybe I did. But that's very, very, very rare, right? Like most people that make it to the professional level, there is some level of discipline, work ethic, and planning that goes into it. And it's an everyday grind. But I love the grind. I love the process. I've always been process driven. And I know that everything I measure, success is the outcome. But without good process and procedure, the chances of the outcome being good are very, very small. And it's already very, very small when you're talking about being a professional athlete, right? So that's kind of like the macro 30,000 foot approach that I took to being successful.
I was one of those God's gifted ones, but I just really
I
loved
see
nine
it.
to five work.
Yeah,
That's the thing. Yeah, you could tell. You see
I
the
can
frame.
totally tell. I
See the
see
frame.
it. Yeah.
GC ladies, we got time for one more question from you. What else would you like to know?
I actually just want to ask a question, a quick question coming back to your point. Would there be any days that you'd be lazy, or how would you make to win your mind?
Yeah, you're right. No, definitely. I even so I still train like I'm playing, right? Because I love what it does for me from like a health and longevity perspective, but I still have a cheat day. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
you should see what my girlfriend and I have up in this cabinet over here. Like you will trip like what we have up in this cabinet. Like we got some snacks up in there. You know what I'm
And
saying? So
how
I
do
got
you, how can you control yourself not to touch it every day? You can't say, no, I'm just gonna touch it on
no,
Saturday. You can do it if we use the.
yeah, I can't look, I can do anything that I put my mind to. I can literally cold turkey be like, I'm not drinking for 60 days. I'm not drinking for 3 months. I can do that. I know not everybody can do that. I can do that. The thing is that I work hard and train hard and take care of myself in so many ways that if I want to have, brownies, cookies, some chips, a glass of wine, a bottle of wine, it's earned. It's not just assumed that I'm allowed to have that. I've got to earn that. And if I feel like I've earned it, then I go ahead and I consume it. But the problem we have, I think, in the US today is everybody wants to consume shit and worry about like the earning it later. You know what I mean? You can't put a bottle of wine, like on your biological credit card. You know what I mean? Like there's a price to pay for that shit immediately. And if you're not taking care of yourself, like some people have to pay that later or sooner rather than later. But I love Mexican food. I'm a Mexican food eater. Like I'm an honorary Mexican, por vida.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I love Mexican food, like tacos, carne asada, like make my own salsa from scratch. I have my own margarita recipe. Like anytime I can try some bomb Mexican food, like that's what I want. And I can eat Mexican food every day. Like I don't have any problem. And there's there's plenty of healthy ways to have Mexican food, by the way.
Lais is actually here, so she can make you an honorary Brazilian if you so choose.
Hey,
Lais,
people think
what does he need to do for
sometimes people think
initiation?
I'm from Brazil when they see me. They're like, "Are you from Brazil?" I'm like,
Yeah.
and then I start talking, and they're like, "Okay, you're not from Brazil."
You have an accent.
Yeah,
But
exactly,
you could
right?
be. You definitely
Exactly,
could be.
right? Because Brazilians are all mixed anyway. I'm mixed, like, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly. Lais, any final questions before we let you go? We have another caller on the line.
Well, I mean, you said you have a girlfriend.
Yep.
So I wanted
And
to ask.
she's sitting right here, by the way, too. So she can hear you. So
Oh, amazing.
don't put
Hi.
me on blast. Yeah, she says hi. She says hi. Yeah, I'm about to say, are you gonna embarrass me? Don't embarrass me.
No, don't worry, I won't embarrass you. It's
Okay,
actually
cool.
maybe she can even give her opinion on this. Well, me and my husband were completing our wedding anniversary 2 years on Sunday, this Sunday.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So I
Yeah.
was like, this week trying to get my hair done and all those, buy a lingerie and buy all those little things, for this special day. And I noticed how much women, we spend so much money taking care of ourselves, You guys don't have any idea. You get a haircut for $18, but women is just like so expensive, every single thing. So I wanted to know from you,
Yeah.
a professional athlete, with
Former professional athlete.
exactly, a man. I
Yeah.
wanted to know from you,
Yeah.
do you think a woman should pay for a bill in a restaurant? Or do you think guys should always pay?
She should pay for a meal. Should she pay for a meal in a restaurant? Like when she's
Yeah.
on a date with a guy?
Yeah.
So this is interesting. So I think the first date, the guy should always pay for the first date. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? But I think that as the relationship becomes like a true relationship, I definitely think the woman should contribute, no doubt. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
because we're two adults. Like, I have 3 kids. I don't need 4 kids. Like, it's not my job to like pay for all your shit. That's just not what we do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
You gotta carry your own shit. Like, so I wouldn't even date somebody that couldn't stand on their own 2 feet. Like, if you're not a professional and you're not bringing something to the table, like, I don't need like. There's plenty of pretty faces out there. Like, that's not hard to find.
Yeah.
Finding somebody who's independent, intelligent, can carry their own shit, do their own thing, pay their bill, buy me dinner sometimes, surprise me. Like,
Yeah.
hey, oh shit, you brought groceries. Amazing. That's awesome. Like, that's an awesome thing. That's a turn on for me. Like, I love that.
For
You know
sure.
what I mean? And so, like, when it comes to like the beginning and the early stuff, I totally believe in being a gentleman and like, hey, yeah, the first time and like, yeah, God should take care of that. But as we're like equal footed, I think everybody's got to contribute something.
But is your girlfriend nodding her head or shaking her head? Which one right now?
She's nodding her head up and down. She's
Okay.
over here laughing. She's
Bam.
smiling.
We're two
Yeah.
for two.
Yeah.
Lais,
Yeah.
before we let you go, I have some really good news for you. Femi has agreed to train us motivationally. We just have to pay him Monopoly money. The Monopoly
Okay.
board's right next to you if you want to go ahead and show him just to prove we have it.
I mean, we're
Yeah.
gonna win, obviously, because
No, we're just paying him with Monopoly money.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, I'm gonna coach you motivationally is what he's saying, but you're
That's
gonna pay
what we
me
want.
Monopoly money. Yeah, and Monopoly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
please teach my husband how not to eat fast food all the time. I'm
Okay.
tired of Chick-fil-A and
Okay. Hey, I'm with you.
I had to teach her America. You know, what's more American than terrible fast food? So
Okay. So hold on 1 second. What were you saying, babe? So she's basically saying that like when it comes to fast food, like the conversation I have in my head is like if I eat this, like is it worth it? Right? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah. Right. Sort of.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Right.
Anyway,
well, it
yeah.
sounds like we're gonna have to give
I
her
got too many people talking at one time.
we're gonna have to give her some Monopoly money too for this kind of advice.
Well, I mean,
So,
she's also a human performance expert, certified nutritionist, personal trainer, life coach. She does all that too.
Wow.
damn.
We
Yeah.
found what we needed it. Like
Yeah.
really, we just
All right,
needed a little
double
push.
date with you guys next time we're in Baltimore.
Yeah, we'll just sit there and us four, and we'll just coach you guys the whole time. Like, no, you guys won't even talk. We're just gonna
Yeah.
tell you what the fuck
I
to do.
love
Like,
it.
no, yeah, that's it. Just no, don't do that. Yes, do this. Do
I respond really well to capital punishment, so feel free to
you
smack
really?
me down
Okay.
my hand. Yeah, that'd be great.
All right. I'll bring the paddle.
Yes, very
Fantastic. Lais, thank you for joining us. Green card, Lais,
Thanks,
everybody give
guys.
her a hand. Let's go ahead and get our next guest in. Baltimore sports fan, Angry Andy. Welcome to the show.
Any luck?
We got
We
a
hear
mic.
you.
Where's your audio? I mean your video.
I don't know where the fuck my audio is.
Jesus Christ.
Holy shit.
We rehearsed this.
Fuck
Baltimore
me.
sports fan, Angry Andy. There he is. Look at him.
Jesus Christ. Thanks for getting to me finally. It's about goddamn time. Femi, where's Femi? Femi's the man.
What's up, Andy? How you doing, brother?
Hey man, good to see you. You've had a great career on and off the field, but but what the fuck, man? Aren't you pissed the Ravens haven't retired your number or put you in the Ring of Honor
No,
yet?
no,
What's
no,
up with
no, no.
that?
I haven't earned that. I haven't earned that.
Come
It's okay.
on, man. You're
You got
being
our
modest.
The beauty is between my brother and I, we can say something. We're a trivia question. We're the only Ravens we're the only brothers in Ravens history to both have Super Bowl rings. We can at least say that, right? We're the only pair of brothers that have
Yeah, I'll give you
rings.
that.
So
You will deserve, though.
appreciate that,
Well
man.
deserved.
Thank you.
Hey, man, for that reason, I'll go one further. Why haven't you gotten the Nobel Prize yet for all the work you've done in
That's a
nutrition
good
and
hey,
health?
hey, that's a good
And what?
question. The Nobel Prize seems more logical than the Ring of Honor for the Ravens, actually. I think the Nobel Prize, that's a good question. We need to go raise hell around that. I should have that.
If you win
You should
that,
definitely have that.
if
Yeah.
you win that, can I be at the ceremony? Can me and Zach be there?
Definitely. Yeah. If I win it, you guys are all coming to the ceremony if I win
Absolutely.
that for sure.
I'll bring all the drinks. We'll have a good time.
Hey,
Andy's
man,
always
I heard
up for
one
that.
day you might get into politics. Is that true?
Yeah, that is true. Actually, I've definitely thought about it, and I've definitely considered it. I'm not there yet because I feel like there's some things on the entrepreneurial side that I really want to accomplish first before I start, making myself open to the craziness of politics. I want to be able to stand on my own 2 feet, and not have to worry about silly shit that politicians have to worry about. You know what I mean? So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Give me 10 more years. We'll see.
We
See
need you,
that
man.
happens.
You got to come, man. You got to get in the office. We got to get these trolls out. What would your platform be if you were running?
I mean, I'm definitely a liberal. I mean, I'm a Democrat. Like that's the environment. I grew up in poverty on welfare and food stamps. My dad was an immigrant, but I just feel like you can be authentic and recognize that there's no one size fits all with things in regard to how you relate to people. I think authenticity is a big thing. And I think recognizing that positivity is also a big thing. Character is a big thing. There's a lot of fucking people in politics. I'm not going to say any names about anybody. Hey, y'all see what's happening. Fucking liars, conspiracy theorists. They manipulate shit for their own benefit. They're self-centered. No, they're not authentic. They have no character. They have zero humility. And so for me, it's just, to me, that's a lot of people see through that. But guess what? A lot of weak-minded people are also susceptible to that. I just think we live in a very interesting time. We still absolutely live in the best country in the world. There's so many amazing things that happen here that are positive on a daily basis. I mean, I'm an example of somebody that can come from absolutely nothing, like literally public housing, welfare, food stamps, gangs, and drugs. That's what I came from. And you can play 11 years in the NFL, you can win a Super Bowl ring, you can go to Hopkins, you can become an entrepreneur, you can work with NASA. Like literally, like you can do that. And so, I mean, I'm a living, breathing example of that. And I think people want to hear more about that. They want to hear more about that story. You know what I mean? About how somebody can get there. And even if we have these different philosophical differences, it doesn't mean that there isn't a way or a path that works for everybody. You know what I mean? And and Andy, that's what I like to focus on. So when you ask me about my platform, it's rooted in authenticity and positivity, humility, character, and grace. Like that's who I am as a person.
Angry Andy, we got time for one more. Angry Andy, we got time for one more question from you. What do you got for Femi?
Oh man. So let's say you get into politics, man. How about this? Can you do me this favor? How about legalizing pot for elementary school kids? So, because I don't think they're getting a fair shake, man.
You know what? That's a good one. Yeah. Yeah, that could be part of my platform. How about like kids like 8 and under?
Yeah, man.
Or,
What the hell?
8 and up. Sorry, 8 and up. 8 and up. 8 and under is a little bit too young, but
Yeah.
8 and up.
They got to go to sleep somehow.
Exactly.
They do, man.
Because like back in the day, scotch in the bottle, like, why put scotch in the bottle when you can just give them some weed?
We all know weed's healthier than scotch, anyways.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. I mean, weed
Sammy,
actually, what's really healthy is weed and scotch for 8-year-olds.
That's the see. Forget the motivational speaking. You can help me with some parenting advice when the time comes.
Yes,
that's right. They got to have a life too, man.
Yeah, my parenting is failing up, right?
Femi, you wearing your Super Bowl ring?
I'm not wearing it today. I apologize. Yeah, it's in storage, dude. It's in storage.
Oh man,
it's in storage.
I bet you could get some primo shit for that ring.
Yeah, I mean, I pull it out on occasion. When I go somewhere where I'm going to meet some new people. It's a nice thing to have on as a talking piece.
Thank you for joining us, Angry Andy. We'll be with you next week as well.
All right. All right, man. Whatever.
All right, go get some weed. We'll see you soon.
Later, dudes.
Let's go ahead and welcome to the show WBAL TV's very own Pete Gilbert, former Maryland Sportscaster of the Year, good friend to the Ravens and everyone around town. Pete, you there?
I am. How we all doing?
There he is in the office where I spent many hours with Mr. Pete Gilbert.
No doubt, no doubt. Lots of hours where we said, Dan, go do that. And he did it. It was great.
It was wonderful. Dan, go get water. Dan, go for a run. Dan, shut the hell up. These are good things.
I remember that part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Being coachable is good, Dan.
Thank you. That's why I need you.
Yeah. What's up, Pete?
What's up, fam? Great to see you, my friend.
Yeah, good to see you too.
Now, I heard that the two of you actually broadcasted a Ravens game together.
Did we do two or just one?
We did one. Jerry had 1 week of COVID.
That's right.
Pete, I want to pretend that I know this was an argument back when I was still working there. I see that WBAL has still not bought you guys a door, but we're going to go ahead and pretend that there is a door there. You get to ask Femi whatever you want now. This is not a WBAL platform.
Ooh. Now, I still have to keep in mind that while you say that, you aren't you don't actually have the door. So
I was hoping you would forget about that, but you're right.
you have to keep it in mind. But I wonder what it's like, Femi, as a guy trying to stay in the league, and you so rarely get the opportunity to have the ball in your hands when that is, what you really want to do the most. What's it like just battling a day in through practice, through the camp, all of it, just hoping you'll have that one game. And you had a game where you had a rushing and a receiving touchdown, and a win over the Colts in 2001. And to have this, like I can have that moment, but for it to only come so fleetingly.
Yeah, I mean, that probably wasn't even my biggest game actually as a Raven. Statistically, yeah, 2 touchdowns is nice. I think I actually had 2 touchdowns 2 other times in it, but not with the Ravens. Let me even go back further because I think based on where I was in 2001, I think I was like in my 6th year in the NFL at that point and had won a Super Bowl at that point already. Like, I think that I knew that the role that I played at that time, I could end up with 10 carries and 5 catches, or I could have 0 plays and just be on special teams. Like the range of expectation was always really there. There's a lot of room there, right? And so I remember that particular game, a bunch of guys were hurt, and it was basically just me and Mo Williams that were left for that game. Like we had the bye week the next week, but we were like the only 2 healthy running backs that particular day. So it was a high scoring game, and I got super lucky. I think I caught a touchdown from Elvis, and I think I ran one in that game.
Now, let me follow up then. More of a question I imagine Dan is looking for, being the comedian that he is now. And although he was a comedian here too, he just didn't show it quite as much. I think he was a little afraid of Jerry to be that funny.
That's accurate.
I saw recently Torrey Smith, the debate right now, should reporters be in the locker rooms? And Torrey Smith talking about how he's like, you wouldn't believe the number of meat watchers we got coming in there. And it's unbelievable. I'll be honest, I don't see that at all. Settle a debate for is that an issue? Did you guys talk about that and be like, you can't believe so and so? And if so, who was the worst reporter in Baltimore that drove you nuts?
That's beautiful.
So I don't agree with Torrey on this. I never felt that way. And I've been in 5 locker rooms, and I was team captain in 2 of those locker rooms. So, if something was to be known, I would know it. If somebody was concerned with something, I would have heard it. Torrey has his own experience, but I can tell you right now, I feel like most reporters now, can some behind closed doors or in a column write some things that I don't agree with? Absolutely. But did I ever felt like anybody was being inappropriate, disrespectful, or overstepping in a locker room based on the sensitivity of the space? Absolutely not. Never felt that. Never heard that from an athlete that I played with.
Pete, what year did you get to Baltimore to start covering a BAL?
The first season the very end of 2003, while I was at freelancing, I was still at WGAL technically, but as they were getting ready for that playoff game that they lost to Tennessee, remember interviewing Orlando Brown Sr. in the locker room, and that was terrifying. And then 2004 was the first season I covered full, so all the way since then.
Okay, so now I don't feel bad about asking Femi this. So Femi, who was your favorite Baltimore reporter, TV, print, radio, whatever, and who was your least favorite to deal with?
Oh, wow. I mean, I don't think I don't think it's really fair for me to answer that, is it? But I love Scott Garceau.
Okay.
I love Scott Garceau.
Shout out to Scott.
Me too. Yeah.
So I worked with Scott, for a couple years, him and Jeremy Kahn, at the Fan, when it was CBS Radio.
Mhm.
That was one of my first radio jobs I got when I was in grad school at Hopkins. That's what I did that part time. And I think Scott was a mentor. You know, he's almost like a dad or an uncle. You know what I mean? Like he really it showed me and encouraged me to lean into the things that he thought I did really, really well, and coached me up on things that I should think about in regard to being cleaner. You know what I mean? And just being just being better at the job. And so and Scott, I think Scott, who was Scott with? Um,
He was a
man,
Tom Maddie.
Tom Maddie.
Tom Maddie.
so it was Tom Maddie too, but didn't Bruce? Was it Bruce too? Did Bruce? Oh, Bruce did wait? Bruce announced the Ravens
He was
games,
the
right?
PA.
Yeah,
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah, Bruce was the PA. Yeah, so I've worked with Bruce and I've worked with Scott on radio, and obviously, well, shit, I've obviously worked with Pete and Jerry too. But I think like based on when Pete got to see me, I'd already been in media for a couple years at that point. You know, like
Right.
on and off for like a decade, probably, maybe actually longer than that. But when it came to my first like go at it, I'd say that Bruce and Scott were really, really good at coaching me. As I don't have anything to say about anybody on the negative side. Like, yeah, we won't go there. I do have a name in my head, but I'm not going to say
Oh, now I gotta know. Let's
it.
be off camera.
Not on camera. Not on camera.
Turn on the TikTok.
There we go. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Last thing I've got for you. How much does it warm your heart to see Pat Ricard carve out the role that he has? He shows up as undrafted at a Maine defensive tackle, and
Yep.
he's become the best fullback in the NFL. And he every year, you can go through different coordinators, do different things. He continues to find his way where he has to be on the field because he is so impactful.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing something that most teams won't even allow players to do these days. You know, like very rarely do you have a fullback in there now. They'll put a lineman back there. They'll put, a tight end back there. They'll put a defensive tackle back there. But Pat Ricard is playing traditional fullback. And the beauty of it is that he can line up as a tight end too. You know what I mean? And he's really effective. He actually is more athletic than people give him credit for.
He embraces the violence in a
He
way.
does. He does embrace the
I don't
violence.
think a lot of guys do
Yeah.
anymore like that.
At that position, though, you have to.
Yeah.
And this is the thing that I'll say, Pete, is the game safer? It absolutely is. And should it be? It absolutely should be. It's violent enough. But the truth of the matter is that the guys that make business decisions don't last long. They just don't. So I believe that the NFL is as violent as it needs to be, but I don't watch it for the violence. And I hope most people don't, because you have some of the biggest, strongest, fastest athletes, freaks in the world out there on a field doing crazy things. It's the most fun sport to watch. And it's because of those guys that are out there. You know what I mean? I believe that.
For me, it's the ability to avoid the violence that I get so excited to watch, because that's what an incredible challenge.
That's also a
Especially
skill.
Yeah.
When you stand down the sideline, which
Yeah.
have the privilege to do, and for a live NFL game, you cannot believe the speed, the size, the sounds that are made when the collisions occur. It's unbelievable.
Whole different level.
Unbelievable. So to be able to navigate all that while doing balletic things is mwah.
That's a good point.
My first time on an NFL sideline was with you, Pete, on Thanksgiving. It was Ravens versus Steelers. Right on the sideline, Jimmy Smith hit Le'Veon Bell, and I immediately was like, got it. That's why I can't do this.
That's why baseball.
Right, baseball or just, broadcasting. Let's go with
Yeah.
that. So that sounds good.
Yeah, the crazy thing about the NFL is that it's so much faster and more violent than college football. And it's crazy because I always told people this when I would do interviews or when I would talk to people. It's like when you're playing, you're numb to it. Like you don't realize how fast and impactful and violent it is. But when you step away for a year or two and then you go back to like a game in person or you're on a sideline, you're like, oh shit. Like I used to embrace this. Like it was the job requirement and I had no problem with it. It was nothing to me. I didn't even feel it half the time. You mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually callous in a good way. Like you harden yourself up to play that game. You'd
have to. Right.
You
You
have
have
to.
to.
How do
You're
you
numb
survive
to it.
otherwise?
The human mind is amazing. The human body is amazing. And when everybody's doing it, everybody raises to it and it's just another day. But like looking at it now, I'm like, damn, like this is wild. It really is. It blows me away.
For the record, that's how we all look at it all the time. So
have
Yeah,
always
well,
looked at it.
I'm just saying, when you're in the thick of it, you don't even think about it. It's nothing to run into a 300-pound dude. Like I was like, oh yeah, I got you, dude. I'm gonna get you. Oh yeah. Oh really? Okay. Next time, watch what I do to you next time. Like it's crazy. Like, and you sought it out, which is wild.
Pete, we want to thank you for joining us. I'm sure we'll have you on future episodes as well, but thank you for swinging by for us today.
It would be my pleasure. Thanks, Dan. Good, great to see you, Fem.
Good to see you, Pete.
All right, Femi. So we're gonna play a couple games that we like to play here on the Back to Baltimore podcast. We're gonna start with this or that. We're gonna give you two options. You just pick one. Simple as that. That way, the viewers get to know you just a little bit better.
And
All
it's
right.
just I just
Start with.
answer I just pick one. No explanation. I just pick this or that.
I'm gonna level with you. I'm probably gonna poke at you a little on some of them, depending on your answers. But initially, yeah. Let's just hear. I just want to hear what you say.
Uh,
All right. We'll start with the first one. I'm interested. Tom Brady or Peyton Manning?
Tom Brady.
Why?
I mean, he's the GOAT in my opinion. I love Peyton as well. But I just think Tom defied all the odds. He was, I think, a 6th-round draft pick. He didn't even start at Michigan. He comes in as a backup at New England, becomes the starter, and immediately the whole culture and the whole future for New England changes. And a lot of that has to do with Tom Brady.
I mean, I completely agree with you. At the same time, as a Ravens fan, I just have to put it out there. Fuck Tom Brady. But at the same time, I appreciate
Oh, agreed. When he's wearing a uniform, absolutely. Yeah, fuck Tom Brady and fuck the horse he rode in on. But that's not the question that you asked me.
That's a very fair point. Yeah. And speaking of
Yeah,
fuck horses, fuck Peyton too, from time
yeah.
to time. So
Hey, exactly. Fuck them
Zach,
both. How about that?
I love it. That's the right answer.
All right, so next one is football or baseball?
Ooh, so you guys didn't know baseball was my first love. I grew up playing baseball. Like baseball was
So
that was where I started actually.
so we knew that's why we were kind of interested.
Uh,
Yeah,
Man,
we can hear a little bit more about the baseball.
if you would have asked Femi the teenager, it would have been without a doubt baseball. But got to be real with you, it's definitely football now for sure. But I watch both. I'm a Giants fan in baseball. You know, Barry Bonds, best baseball player to ever live. No, I don't give a damn what happened, what he did. I don't give a shit what he did because the bottom line is he was a Hall of Famer before all the bullshit. But right now I've got to go football.
Liquor or beer?
Wine.
Okay.
A Northern California Napa Cabernet, no doubt.
Okay, well, you already did this once, but win a Super Bowl or make $1 billion.
Oh shit. I mean, make $1 billion. Fuck yeah, all day, every day. I'll go buy a team. Shit. You know what I mean? At least be a minority investor. $1 billion won't get you a team nowadays, but you can be a minority owner of a team with a bill.
Yeah.
Come on now. I'm not stupid, right? Like anyone that says Super Bowl, they're tripping. Definitely $1 billion, no doubt.
Money doesn't buy happiness, but it buys a boat. You ever seen anybody sad on a boat?
I mean, a boat is a fucking money guzzler. Fuck that. I'm cool on the boat, man. I'll come right on your boat, Dan. You
I
know
would
what I
love
mean?
that. You're invited anytime.
I'll land my helicopter on your boat, and then
I'll have some Cabernet waiting for you.
ooh, but
We're,
bro, let's
we're good.
go.
We're good to go.
Would you rather be stuck in space or be stuck in the ocean?
Oh shit. I mean, I'm a sci-fi guy. I love astrophysics. I love astronomy. And without thinking too much about it, I'm gonna say stuck in space, just cause.
All right, here's a tough one. Butt or boobs?
Oh, ass all day, please. Come on, dude. This ain't 1980.
You're damn right. God bless you.
Yeah, and I mean, come on. You know what's up.
Hey, I married a Brazilian. Yeah.
I wasn't gonna say it, but I was waiting for you to say it.
Yeah.
So shit.
Leo DiCaprio or Brad Pitt?
Leo. That's a tough one for me, but I'm gonna go with Leo. But I just think they're really, really good actors. You know what I'm saying? Like I really appreciate their skill set. And I know that do you remember that Brad Pitt was in True Romance? Like I love that movie, True Romance. You guys ever seen that?
It's been a while.
You got to go back and see that because Brad Pitt plays a stoner on the couch, which is probably what people thought his range was when that movie came out. Like, oh, this pretty face guy is what he's gonna do. Nah, dude, that dude can actually act. But and Seven was really good too. And you know what? Fuck, now I'm talking myself into Brad now again, dude. Fuck.
I
Yeah. Anyway.
don't know, man. I watched Troy and I saw what that dude looked like, and I was like,
Oh yeah. Well, see, yeah. Leo can never be that. He can never be that.
it's like
You know.
that's what we're
Okay,
saying.
I'm changing. It's Brad. Sorry, it's Brad.
That was my vote, to be honest with
Okay,
you.
it's
Zach,
Brad.
just real quick, what's your vote? Is that Leo or Brad? Just so we can get
Oh,
out.
Brad.
Okay,
Brad
it's
Pitt.
Brad.
We'll,
Yeah.
we'll see if we can call him up.
I lost my way for a moment. It's Brad.
I was gonna try to get him on here. He doesn't return my calls.
Yeah.
So
What are you gonna do?
All right, Batman or Iron Man?
Iron Man,
Love that.
definitely.
In Sync or Backstreet Boys?
Ooh, In Sync for sure. I actually got a chance to. If you guys ever get a chance, there's this movie. Um, it's called Red something. I can find out for you if you want. I actually had a role in it, and one of the characters or one of the actors in the movie is JC Chazet. I got to spend a day with JC Chazet, and we went to the airport together. He actually bought me Chipotle for lunch, dude. JC, that's another story I never told you. JC Chazet and I had lunch together. He bought me Chipotle
Did he
at the
get
airport.
did he get you guac?
I hate guac, and so he knows that. So no, there's no guac. He knows I don't do guac.
Didn't even have
And
to worry
he
about it.
probably won't remember that. No guac, no cheese, baby. Just rice, beans, and chicken. That was it.
You healthy? You got trying to get like Brad Pitt and Troy.
Oh, I'm already like Brad Pitt and Troy, so I'm
I,
not worried
I
about
believe
that.
I'm
You got to
actually
go look at my pictures, bro. Go take a peek.
that's gonna be the poster for this actually. I'm just gonna like put your face in that outfit.
No, no, you don't even need to do that. Oh yeah, you're gonna put the outfit on my body
Yeah,
somehow.
exactly.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right,
yeah.
yeah, all right.
Okay, Beyonce or Rihanna?
Beyonce.
Cats or dogs?
That's a tough one too, but I'm gonna say Beyonce.
Cats or dogs?
Ooh, um, damn, I love me some cats, dude.
Really?
Yeah. So my girlfriend's over here laughing because we have a cat and a dog here. Well, she has a cat and a dog, and I by default have a cat and a dog. But the cat will not leave me alone, bro. The cat is on me 24/7. So
I get it. Cats are more sensitive, so if you had said dogs, you're gonna piss off the cat.
yeah, I mean, dude, that's a tough one. I'm okay. You know what? No, I'm gonna go cat. I'm gonna go cats, dude. Sorry, I'm going cats, man.
I'm gonna
Like
love
I
with
love
you.
other people's dogs and stuff, but I no, I'm gonna go with the cat. I'm gonna go with the cat.
I thought you were just gonna go full Brad Pitt again, but that's fine. We'll go with
Oh,
cat.
Brad Pitt. Yeah, cat or dog, Brad Pitt.
All right, next segment. Let's get a list of Femi's favorites. We were talking about this a little earlier. Movies.
My favorite movies?
Favorite movies. Give me your
Oh
top three.
man. Interstellar for sure. All the Star Wars movies, all the Lord of the Rings movies. Uh Avengers, all the Avengers movies. Avengers Endgame made me cry too, dude. I love freaking Avengers Endgame. Like every time that's on, I make my girl watch it with me. Like she has no choice. We're watching it. Avengers Endgame. There's so, dude. I watch everything, so it's so hard for me. Oh, the best movie of all time, hands down, best singular concept that blew my mind back in 1999. The fucking Matrix, the best movie ever made, hands down. But the
Did you
best TV
meet
show ever made is Lord of the Rings. You didn't ask me that. I'm sorry, not Lord of the Rings. Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is the best TV series ever made, no
That was the
doubt.
next question. So
I was,
beautiful.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was gonna ask, did you meet Keanu when they were filming The Replacements?
No, I did not. I did not.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
I remember they filmed the one scene at a
Yeah.
preseason game, and I was
Yeah.
there. I remember
Yeah.
that.
No,
Is
I
it
remember
true?
that. I remember hearing about it, but yeah, I don't know what I was doing at that time. But
Yeah, that was a good movie too.
Yeah.
yeah,
So your favorite musician then?
my favorite musician of all time,
All time.
like just one musician.
One musician. You have to pick one.
Oh shit. Damn, I love Prince, dude. Um, Purple Rain is probably the greatest song ever made.
Favorite football player of all time that's not you.
Ooh. It's either gonna be if you ask the young me, it's Steve Young. If you ask the current me, it's Lamar Jackson.
Favorite pizza topping?
Um, ooh, man, I really probably Italian sausage.
Favorite comedian.
It's got to be Eddie
I thought
Murphy.
you were gonna say Dan Levine, but that's fine.
No, sorry, Dan.
That's okay. We'll work on it. Zach.
Yeah, I got to go with Eddie Murphy. Either Eddie Murphy or Jamie Foxx, probably.
Your favorite Baltimore restaurant?
Favorite Baltimore restaurant. Um, you know what's crazy right now? There's an amazing taqueria called Taco Love, in Fed Hill that I go to at least twice a month, either with my girl or with my son or with both. All of us go.
Favorite Baltimore bar.
Ooh, favorite Baltimore bar. I don't really go to bars that much these days, bro. Back when I first moved back, dang, what's the bar in Fells Point with all the brews? All like, they have all the beer on tap.
Um, Talking about
I know
Max's?
what you're.
Max's.
Tap House?
Max's was definitely my favorite bar. Like when I first came back and I was going out a lot, Max's was my spot because I could go there and watch a game. I can get wings. I could hang out, be a gang of people there. Yeah,
What's his
Max's is probably like my old school favorite bar.
favorite Baltimore Orioles player of all time?
Um, man, favorite Baltimore player of all time. Man, I really like Gunnar Henderson right now, but it's got to be Cal Ripken though. I mean, as a kid, I loved Cal Ripken as a kid, so I
Can't go
can't
wrong.
just put Gunnar ahead of him now, even though I love watching Gunnar play.
Now, Femi, we wanna have a little fun with you. We're gonna quiz you a little bit here.
Uh-oh.
You made your first start in the NFL with the Ravens, September 3rd, 2000, week one against the Steelers. By the way, 16-0 Ravens win. Hell yeah.
Actually, that's not that. Oh, my first start as on offense. Okay, that wasn't my first game, but it was my first start. You're right.
Correct. Your first start on offense.
Yeah.
So can you name the starting offense around you that for that game?
Oh shit. Okay.
Start with quarterback.
Yeah, quarterback was Tony Banks. At left tackle was Jonathan Ogden.
Correct.
Um, at left guard. Oh shit, who was the left guard? I think Ed Mulitalo was the right guard.
Oh, he was the
Was he
left
the left
guard.
guard? Oh, he's left guard. Okay, Ed Mulitalo. And then was was it Mike Flynn the starting center, or was it Jeff Mitchell, the
Well,
starting center?
Mitchell was starting center. Flynn was the starting right guard.
Okay, there we go. That's right. Okay, that's right. There we go. Yeah. And then right tackle, man, right tackle, there was a lot of people because the starting right tackle originally, I think, was Leon Searcy, but I think he got hurt, or maybe that was the next year. Who was the it was oh shit.
This was the hardest one.
No, I know who it is. I know who it is. Uh okay. Um can you give me an initial? Can you give me some initials?
HS.
Harry Swain.
There you go. Love
Harry
it.
Swain. Because the thing is, I think Harry, yeah, anyway, I won't make it. Sorry, Harry. Harry's my boy. Harry Swain. And then at the receiver position, so at the tight end was Shannon Sharp.
Correct.
Kadri Ismail was one receiver.
Correct.
I know when we went three wides, I think Jermaine Lewis was the third receiver in three wides, but the other starting receiver, was it
So
what's my man?
So on the starting list, they had one. They only had Kadri listed as receiver. They had two starting tight ends. So Shannon Sharp was the one.
Oh, it was Ben. Ben came from the Patriots. What's
Yep.
Ben's last name? Give me the initial.
C.
Ben Coates.
There you go.
Ben
And the only
Coates.
one we're missing, who was the running back?
Oh, Jamal Lewis was the running. Oh, well, Priest Holmes was the running back. Then Jamal ended up taking the job, but Jamal and Priest kind of shared it a lot. And then anyway, yeah, it was
You
Jamal
got
and Priest though.
Love it. Wow, you really crushed that. So how do you remember your exact receiving stats? How many catches, yards, and touchdowns you had in your NFL career?
Oh, and my like receiving, or do you mean total? Like my total
Just
touchdowns?
just receiving.
Yeah, just receiving.
Man, I think I'm just gonna guess. I'll say 130 catches for
Spot on.
900 yards and 4 or 5 receiving touchdowns, somewhere in there.
Damn,
That was
really,
insane.
right
That was
there.
insane.
130 catches, 885 yards, and 3 touchdowns. That's
Okay.
you're right there. All right, now rushing. How many carries, yards, and touchdowns for your career?
Oh wow. Well, I had five. I think I had 5 rushing touchdowns.
Correct.
Uh, man, How many carries did I have? I'll say 100 carries and 370 yards. No, am I off? I don't know.
No, you're pretty close. 123 and 413 yards.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool. All right.
Also, for the record, 178 total fantasy football points for you. So
Okay.
would've
The
been
thing that you're missing is I had over 100 special teams tackles too.
Right.
The thing is, don't trust the NFL stats on special teams tackles. The internal numbers are way better than they don't get those right.
Honestly, that's why I didn't even bring those because I was like,
Yeah.
I feel like they don't do a good job with that. All right, so now we want to get to some questions about your former Ravens teammates.
Uh-oh.
Who was the funniest teammate you had?
Shannon Sharp for sure.
That tracks.
Yeah, either Shannon Sharp or Cornell Brown. Cornell Brown was funny as hell. There's a lot of funny guys, dude. There's a lot of funny guys, but Brad Jackson is funny as hell too. But I got to go with Shannon. Shannon or Goose. Shit. I mean, let's not leave. Let's not ignore the elephant in the room, right? But everybody's gonna say Goose.
No
So
pun intended.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Shannon because Shannon and Goose were always going at it. So that's probably a good, a good way to, you know, everyone's gonna say Goose. RIP to my guy Goose.
Yeah.
Much love, but I'm gonna go with Shannon. I think Shannon pissed me off and he was funny.
All right. Teammate you'd least want to date your daughter.
Ooh, teammate I'd least want to date my daughter. Um, man. Oh, wow. Do I have to answer that question?
No,
Uh,
you don't. You
It
know.
was in the contract,
all
actually.
of them. Yeah, all of them. Yeah, there you
All
go.
of them.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess then we'll go the other way. Who would you most want to date your daughter of all your teammates?
Oh, wow. Chris Redmond was my roommate. He was a good dude. Chris Redmond would be a good person for my daughter to date. Probably who else would be good? Travis Taylor seemed like a nice kid back in the day when he was a rookie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Travis, and the funny thing is, Travis was young and we only played a few years together. So there's other guys that I knew better because I just kind of knew them from around. And I think his rookie year was 2000. So I always liked Travis Taylor. He's always a good guy.
Who was your strongest teammate?
Ooh, strongest teammate. Damn. Um, Shit, I'm gonna put myself up there with a couple guys. I know Shannon and I used to work out together. Shannon was strong as shit. But like, pound for pound, right? Like you got some big ass dude like linemen that are strong as hell, right? So I don't even know if I want to count them. But I'd say pound for pound, dude. I could go toe to toe with anybody. I know Shannon could too. Jamal could, Lewis. Priest was strong as hell. Dude, we had a lot of strong dudes, man.
Your smartest teammate.
Smartest teammate, me.
That tracks.
I mean, okay, other than me. Okay, other than me. Um, you know what? Trent Dilfer is a smart dude. Trent was really smart. Yeah, I'll go with Trent.
Right.
Yeah, Trent Dilfer.
Or the other
for
way,
sure.
dumbest teammate.
Oh, I can't do that, bro. Can't do that. No, they can't put that energy out there.
I get that. Best dressed teammate.
Man, at that time, ooh, that's who was the best dressed person at that time? You know what's so funny? I can't really remember who would always have like the suit ready. I was always about comfort, so definitely not gonna be me. Um, and you said teammate. So yeah, honestly, I can't remember. Shannon dressed pretty well actually. Shannon Sharp
So
and
that's
Ray dressed pretty well too actually. Yeah, I'll go with either Shannon or Ray.
best bromance in the locker room.
Best bromance in the locker room. Ooh, probably Brandon Stokely and Chris Redmond.
Really?
Yeah, because we were all boys. Like me and Redmond lived together, but Brandon would always be at our house with us, hanging out.
They knew each other from before, teammates, or they just
No, just you know,
came
two
back?
white dudes on an NFL team. They find each other. You know what I'm
That's very fair.
saying?
Two white dudes that aren't kickers.
Yeah.
Who was the locker room DJ?
Ooh, that's a good one. Who was the locker room DJ? We always had music playing. Was it Cornell Brown? It might have been Cornell. I'm not actually sure. Or it could have been Adalius Thomas. Damn, you know what? I'm not sure who it was. But we always had some music popping off though for sure. We had a vibe. We had a vibe before there were NFL locker room vibes. Ravens had it. We had it.
Were you good with the tunes? You let whoever it was doing a good job?
Oh yeah, we're listening to some hip hop for sure. Yeah, we're getting our heads right. Everybody always had music with them.
Who was the most nervous flyer when you guys would take trips?
Oh, that's a good one. I'm trying to remember who used to get nervous when we flew. I have like a memory of somebody, but I can't think of who it was. Like nobody's super scared, by the way. Like it wasn't like,
That makes sense.
yeah,
You guys are doing it
yeah,
all the time.
yeah, exactly. You're playing the NFL. You probably play Division I football. You're used to getting on planes and traveling to games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Favorite Ravens teammate you had?
My favorite Ravens teammate that I had. Wow. Who am I going to offend? Everybody by my answer. I love Chris because we were roommates. We got along really well. I would have to say probably in 2001, one of my boys from the Vikings came over to the Ravens, Mo Williams. So we
Yeah.
were friends back in Minnesota. And then when he came to Baltimore, oh man, I was so happy to have him in Baltimore. and he's one of my favorite people that I've ever played with, period, anywhere. So, there's so many guys I could choose. Like Brandon Stokely and I were tight because of Redmond, right? Redmond and I were tight. Obviously, all the running backs, me and Sam Gash were super tight. Me and Trent grew up in the same part of California. Like we went to rival high school. I knew Trent for a long time. Me and Trent, I was tight with a lot of guys, but if I have to pick one, and there's a differentiator, Mo knew me as a rookie in Minnesota, and he got to see me evolve into the player I became as a Raven. And I'd say his vision on all that and his help with all that, I'll go with Mo Williams. He's just a funny ass dude and a good guy.
Your favorite stadium to play in, not in Baltimore?
Favorite stadium to play in, not in Baltimore. Where did I have some of my best games? Good question. So I ended up playing in Arizona. I liked playing in Arizona's brand new stadium. I got to be a part of that. So that's a sick stadium. And also playing in Seattle is pretty sick too.
What about your least favorite stadium to play in?
Oh, so back when I played, remember Three Rivers was the shitty ass AstroTurf.
Yeah.
And then also I played in Miami when it was still was it the Orange Bowl? What was it? Was it called the Orange Bowl?
I think it was the Orange Bowl.
And the Marlins were playing there. Any stadium that had freaking dirt on it, dude, that's the worst because you're gonna get cut up because when you're playing football, you just can't worry about that shit. And I always ended up with Raz. And I was one of those dudes. If I didn't bleed every game, then I wasn't playing hard. You know what I mean? I was one of those guys. So I was always bleeding. So that just made it worse for me. So any stadium that had a dirt infield, dude, trash.
Like Oakland, places like that.
Yeah, Oakland, but I would probably say that Three Rivers is the absolute worst. That shit was concrete with a carpet, and that the dirt was softer.
Now they got ugly ass Heinz Field.
Heinz Field is actually a cool place to play, but what I hated about it is it was always slippery. Like that field was always slick. I hated that grass there, always slick.
So thank you, Femi, for joining us. We really appreciate having you on for the first episode. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope you had a good time.
Yeah, dude, I really appreciate it. It was awesome. Zach was great. You were great, dude. Thank your wife for her thoughtful questions when she popped on. Yeah, all good, brother. Anytime. You owe me a drink in LA.
Whenever you're out here, I'll email you myself. Hit me up.
Yep.
We'll make it happen.